Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be some meal prep. Okay, so I'm going back on meal prep and I'm going to focus on my fitness. Just trying to make 2022 a better year than 2021. Can we just talk about the fact that we're in 2022 right now? I cannot believe it right now. Genuinely didn't even think I was going to make it to my 21st birthday, never mind actually making it to 2022. Anyway, we're going to do some meal prep. So the fact that I've got a camera now is so good. I need to stop doing this and I need to elongate, is that what it's called? I don't know. Basically, I am not good at vlogging at all. Anyway, we are meal prepping some chicken and we've got some rub for the chicken. We've got some beef here that I'm just going to fry off. We've got 400 grams of rice, salt for the rice. I'm also going to make some soup, so we've got some lentils for lentil soup, potatoes, leek. I like to put bouillon in my soup because it makes it taste good, and we've got some oxo cubes. I'll find the vegetable ones, see the ones just down the bottom there. I'll get them. So we've also got some spinach as well that I'm going to put in with the chicken because I'm in a kind of chickeny mood just now. So what I'm going to do is, it's not going to be a very talkative video. I'm just basically going to go through what I'm going to make, and then, well, I've went through what I'm going to make, but then I'm just going to go through what my process is, and then that's it really. I've kind of tried to clear some space in my fridge to try and, so that I can actually get some stuff done. But basically this is just meal prep for me. I normally do Connor's as well just because convenience, but Connor's currently getting a new plan made up for him because he's wanting to go into fighting again. He wants to box again. I'm pretty sure he's going into jiu-jitsu or something, either jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai, something along the lines of that. I haven't actually properly spoken to him about it yet, but he's getting a new plan made up, so I'm not meal prepping for him. I'm just going to make my meal prep for Monday to Thursday because we have a wedding at the end of next week. So basically I'm going to crack on. I'll explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it if I find a good spot to kind of put the camera. Again, I don't have a tripod or nothing, so I'm going to try and find a spot for you guys. Oh, someone's phoning me, hold on. Yeah, I'm just meal prepping. I'm making some chicken, some beef, rice, and I'm going to make some soup. Alright, are you a bit excited there? Oh, do you like my soup? Yeah, I'm going to peel the potatoes for you.
Really, soup's really fucking good.
Thanks for that. Okay, I love you, bye. That was Connor, if you didn't already know. Okay, so I have no idea what the lighting situation is. Like I said, we are going to meal prep. Excuse the state of me also because I'm just back from the gym and I'm not doing my face. Right, so where was I? Yeah, we've got 400 grams of rice that I'm going to put some salt in now because I normally put too much salt in the pot, so I'm just going to put some salt in just now and whiz that all about. And then we're going to fry off some beef. We're going to cut up some leek and potatoes. If you heard me on the phone there, I need to peel the potatoes because Connor does not like potatoes with skin on them. I know, he's a freak, I know. But anyway, so we're going to get some chopping boards. Okay, we'll do that. So we're going to start off with meat first so that when the meat's cooking I can do my veggie. I'm going to start with chicken first. So what I'm going to do is, this is very zoomed in on my face. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to time lapse cutting the chicken because it's just me cutting chicken. So I'm just going to time lapse that so that you guys don't get bored. But before I do that, we're cutting the chicken into kind of bite-sized pieces, kind of cubes, just so you guys know. Okay, so you have literally just seen me cut up my chicken just into bite-sized pieces. I put the barbecue marinade on it. If you want to know what barbecue marinade is, it's this one here. If that's going to focus. It's this one here. It's literally like 79p at Home Bargains. Obviously if you're in the UK you'll know that. If you're not, I don't know what the equivalent of Home Bargains is anywhere else, so that's where it's from anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up potatoes. I'll probably end up just using half of this bag. So I don't know, I'll probably use about 4 or 5 potatoes. That will give me a good amount of chunk. I've just put my rice on as well, if you can hear it in the background there. I'm going to chop up my leek and set that aside for the soup as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse my lentils. I'll show you how much I use, but I'm going to rinse them off camera because it's just noisy and just, like, you know how to rinse lentils, you just rinse them, like, it's not that hard. But I normally rinse them in a sieve, just purely because it's just convenient, again, like, just saves effort. But what I do is I use cold water, just in case of like you want to make this yourself. I normally put carrots in my soup, but I don't have any, so we're just going to wing it with just leek and potato. If I want a kind of thicker soup, I'll probably use a bit more than this, but average it's about 100 grams, maybe less than that, but generally it's like a handful, it's not that much. But I'm gonna rinse these off camera, so 2 seconds. Okay, so I've rinsed my lentils. They look like this. They kind of clump up when they get wet. I've just got a dishcloth under here just because I don't want to wreck my worktop. So I normally get like my biggest pot that I've got, and I used to have a bigger one, but I burnt my soup in my last pot and it kind of mucked up. So just put the lentils in, and what I like to do is I like to fill my pot up with hot water from the kettle. So I normally boil the kettle, which I haven't done yet. Boil the kettle and fill it up halfway. I want to cook my lentils for 15 minutes before I start adding my veg in. Strain that water out because it's really starchy. Unless you really want a starchy soup, that's up to you, but I like to drain it because I like my soup a bit thinner. So boil these off 15 minutes, strain the water out, put fresh water from the kettle in, let that boil. As soon as it starts to boil, start putting your veg, like, so my potatoes will go in first and then my leek, and then after that I'll put like the stock in. So I'll put like my bouillon and my kind of vegetable stock cubes in. So anyway, I'm gonna put my soup on and start cutting up my potatoes and my leek and stuff, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I took a quick wee break because Connor came in there and he was talking to me and stuff, but I wanted to show you some of the stuff I've done. So I've cut up the potatoes just into small kind of bite-sized pieces. They're going to go in the soup in a minute. Still need to cut up the leek, just a big leek, need to cut that up. But this is what the lentils should look like once they've been boiled for about 15-20 minutes. I did do it a bit longer, but it kind of goes into a soup consistency type thing. So basically what you want to do is you want to drain that out, the liquid, and then put fresh water in it and boil it, and then obviously you put your veg into it. This is the rice. I just transferred it over to a bowl so I can let it cool before I put it into the fridge. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to boil the kettle again, drain the lentils, put fresh water in, and then I'm going to cut up my leek and then put everything together. I still need to fry my beef off and I still need to cook my chicken, so we'll get onto that in a wee minute. Okay, so we have got lentils with fresh water. They were drained and put fresh water, so water is boiling now, so I'm going to stick potatoes in. So they're just going in here. Try not to splat. try not to splat and make it go everywhere. If anyone has any tips for like how to non-splat everything, please let me know, because I'm really crap at it. So potatoes are in. Obviously naturally, because they're cold, that will cool down the water slightly. So once that comes back up to a boil again, I will stick leeks. They've just been washed in cold water because I like to wash my leek before I cut it and after, because I'm trying to find a wee bit that proves my example. So you know how obviously this has got, like, they're all joined in together and they all need to separate. So basically I've been just going round with cold water and just doing that, making sure all the dirt is out, because, you know, I clear all the visible dirt off that I can see before I've cut it. Then after I've cut it, you start to see more dirt and stuff, so I like to go through it. I'll wash it probably again before I put them in. So onto actually like flavouring my soup. So this is bouillon. If you don't know what it is, it's basically like a vegetable kind of stock type thing. It basically flavours your soup. It saves you like putting salt, pepper, like all this separate stuff in it. It's basically all together put in a mixture. And then I just have this glass jar that's got all my OXO cubes and stuff in it. The packaging looks for OXO cubes. It's like this. So these are the vegetable OXO cubes that I'm going to be using. I normally get the 25% less salt, purely because less salt in your diet's alright. Obviously I've clearly been like on the chicken and beef craze, so like the beef ones will go in with this when I'm frying it off, and the chicken one I don't really need to because I've marinated the chicken. But I like to normally put one of these in, so I'm putting one of these in, and I'll need to go to here and get, there we go. I normally stick either 1 or 2 in here. We are going to put in bouillon and the 2 stock cubes. You can kind of see the pot there, but basically the pot's here. And I'm just, because it's boiling now, if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? So I'm going to put my stock in that in just now before I put the leeks in. But you want to just crumble it up into small pieces. Just want to crumble each kind of cube up into small pieces, just so that it's just easier to break away. So the Knox one's like this. Don't know if you can see that properly, but basically it's like, oh, I've just dropped a bit. It just comes into like a kind of cube. But I normally use the OXO cubes, but I'm just breaking up the bouillon a wee bit, and I normally just put in a teaspoon, about that amount, just sprinkle it in, and then what I'll do is I'll get my wooden spoon back and I'll mix it through, just so that nothing, because it normally clumps to the bottom of the pan and burns, so you need to watch for that. Okay, so I have my leek here as well, and I'm just going to put my leek in. I'm just kind of making sure that obviously that all the dirt's been put out, but I've washed it 3 times now, so I'm just going to plop them in and just break up any wee bits that haven't been broken up yet. If you want really good flavour from leeks, get a nice crunchy leek. It just helps. So soup's on, rice is done, chicken's in the fridge. That's going to be the last thing that I'm going to do. So I'm going to do my beef now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my soup on a back hob, just so that it's out of the way, because it's all it needs to do now is just kind of marinate and cook, basically. Get my big frying pan that's got like quite a big kind of big edges. But anyway, because this has been lying out for a wee while, it was frozen, but it's actually quite soft now. Basically with frozen beef, I like to just whack it right in the pan. I get the 5% fat mince because it just means it's better in the pan. It saves you putting excess oil in, because the fat from the beef just goes into the pan and then helps it not stick. I've got a non-stick pan anyway, but this pan is quite old. I've had it for nearly 2 years now, so it is quite old. All I'm doing is plain pan, hob is on, and I'm just going to whack all this in. You'll hear it sizzling in a wee minute, and then just whack the rest of this in. Now this will look like a lot, right? I'll show you in a second before I start stirring it. Put that in the bin quickly. Right, so I'm going to show you this mountain. You see that? Like, that does look like a lot. It does condense down like as it cooks. So I'm just going to get wooden spoon. Basically, I'm just wanting it unfrozen. That's basically what I'm wanting. I'm wanting it to be not frozen anymore and cooked as well. But because it's frozen, it doesn't actually burn the pan as such. Obviously if you've got it at a really, really high heat, it will. But I've just kind of got it on a medium to high heat, and then I just keep stirring it. I do not leave it. I just keep stirring it. I keep stirring it from the bottom, and I just keep doing that. And obviously making sure that none of it's sticking. Once the fat starts to come out, I try and fry off as much fat as possible. But the fat still gives some flavour, so I do like to have some fat as well. So anyway, this is what the beef will look like basically. cooked beef, and just it's now just the fat that I'm kind of frying off. I don't want to dry it out because then it just tastes rank, it's nasty. So just frying off a bit of the fat, but I'm going to put some flavouring into this now. So I'm just going to set it to the side, turn the hob off in case I burn myself, because me being me, I'll burn myself. So flavouring wise, what I'm wanting to do is, see the OXO cubes that I got the last time? I'm just going to sit you in my cupboard a minute. It's just easier. So the OXO cubes that I got the last time. See, every time I open my cupboard now, because it's getting so steamy in here. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but my tubs are starting to like steam up and that, because it's getting so steamy in here. So for beef, I take 2 OXO cubes. That's what I done the last time, wasn't it? For the soup, yeah. So I take 2 OXO cubes. Sometimes I put 3 in, but again, I like to go in with one of the Knorrs. Is it Knorrs or Knots? I don't know, but it's this anyway, if it wants to focus. You know what it is anyway, it's just obviously red, and it's got a bull on it for a beef, or a cow on it for beef or whatever. But that's my last one. See ya. Cool. So we're just going to put these in the pan. We have put the flavour into this beef now. So the 2 OXO cubes in the flavour pod. Normally the flavour pod needs a wee bit of water to kind of dissolve it, but the fat in this, because I let it sit for a wee while, kind of done that for me, so I don't need to add any excess water to it, which is good because it just makes it watery and it's just harder to fry off. So I'm just frying this off just to make sure everything's dissolved, and that's it basically ready. So that's what it looks like basically. It's just plain beef with the 2 OXO cubes in it and the flavour pot, and soup's cooking away also, which is good. I just let that simmer for a good maybe hour, 2 hours or something. So beef is done, so I'm just going to put that to the side because I'm going to use the same frying pan for the chicken. Okay, beef is in. Right, so barbecue chicken. I'm going to get our fabulous barbecue chicken. So chicken has been marinating in there for probably been about an hour now. So I washed the frying pan. I just put some fry light in the pan. I'm trying to angle this as best as possible for you guys, but obviously like you're sitting on a microwave. But anyway, so fry light is in the pan, and I've just got my chicken, and I'm just going to put that in there once that starts to heat, which is doing just now. Right, so that's hot enough. There we go, sizzling. So just move that around, just let it heat up a little bit, and then I'll turn the heat down purely because I don't want to overcook the chicken. I want to try and keep it as juicy as possible. Do you hear that sizzling? It smells so good. See, if you could smell through a camera, you'd love this. Well, if you don't like barbecue, you won't, but just kind of hope for the best and just make sure it's all cooked. And then I'm just going to wait for this to cook and just keep stirring it just so that it doesn't stick, basically. Okay, so chicken is cooking away. It's still kind of raw and stuff. Soup is like cooking away. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a quick stir. Ignore the food in my sink. I've still not obviously done that yet, but yeah, that's not sticking whatsoever, so that's completely fine. So what I'm wanting to do is, because I'm not a massive vegetable person, like genuinely, it's so hard for me to get veggies in, so this is why I'm going to stick spinach in. I quite like spinach because it obviously like shrinks when it's in the pan. So the chicken is near enough basically ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put half a bag of spinach. So all I need to do is just get a big batch of it and just shove it in there, and it does reduce down, so just I put a wee bit extra in there. Like, it's absolutely a large batch of spinach. So basically just letting the heat kind of get in there and kind of condense it down a little bit, and then once it starts kind of going, I'll just kind of move the chicken around, pushing it down into the pan so that it condenses down. This is starting to condense down a bit, so look, condensing right down because it just shrinks. I'm just shrinking this right down and just getting it like coated in the barbecue marinade. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the chicken on a plate, and I'm just going to wrap some tin foil around it once it's cooled and just stick it in the fridge. That's that basically condensed like right down. Like, can you see that? Without me actually spilling it everywhere. Soup's still going. So we have some chicken with spinach, obviously condensed down. I'm just waiting for it to cool down. It's going on in the fridge. Soup is still on. That'll probably go on for another hour or so, so I'm just going to leave that with. Beef is still quite hot. It's cooling down. Rice is cooled down, so that will go in the fridge. I'll put some tin foil on it. But yeah, so that is my meal prep, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys kind of learned something about me, how I meal prep and stuff like that. I do switch it up obviously depending on my schedule, but right now my schedule, it's not even a proper schedule at this point. I'm not too fussed about actually like putting it in containers and all that type of stuff yet. I'm just kind of prepping the food as such, not prepping the actual containers and stuff. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something from this video. I will promise I will try and keep my YouTube channel alive and keep more active. I'm wanting to take 2022 quite seriously this year, so hopefully it will come. Obviously if it doesn't, just bear with me, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes and stuff which I will be explaining in due course, but obviously right now it's not happening. If you hear screaming, it's because Connor's playing his games and he's really doing my nut in. But anyway, thank you so much for watching guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.